The Iliad, the wrath of Achilles. Terror swept the battlefield. The Trojans, once emboldened, scattered like leaves before a storm. Achilles was not just a warrior, he was vengeance incarnate. His spear sang in the air. His chariot wheels stained the earth red. No plea was heard. No prayer was answered. The son of Thetis had returned, and he burned with a fury that even the gods dared not quench. Hector watched from the walls of Troy. He knew the moment had come. No more hiding behind ramparts, no more delaying fate. The gods had whispered of this day since his youth. He kissed his wife Andromache, held his infant son once more, and stepped into the light of the battlefield, not as a prince, not as a hero, as a man who knew he would not return. They faced each other beneath the open sky, Achilles, blazing in god-forged bronze, and Hector, steady, proud, unshaken by fear. For a heartbeat, the world stilled. Then Hector ran. 3 times he circled the walls of Troy, pursued by Achilles, not out of cowardice, but in hopes that the gods might grant him a sign. None came. Finally he stopped. He turned. He stood his ground. Words were exchanged, brief, bitter, final. They threw their spears. Hector missed. Achilles did not. The spear pierced Hector's armor, the same armor Achilles had once worn, and Patroclus had borrowed when he met his end. As Hector fell to his knees, he begged Achilles to return his body to Troy, to let his family bury him with honor. But Achilles, heart frozen by grief, refused. "You shall not have that honor. Dogs and vultures will feast on your flesh." Then he tied Hector's lifeless body by the ankles to his chariot and dragged it across the battlefield, around the city walls, through blood and dust. The people of Troy screamed from the heights. Priam tore his robes. Andromache collapsed in grief. For days Achilles defiled the body, his wrath unsoftened. He denied rest to the dead. The gods watched in silence until Zeus spoke. Enough. In the dark of night, guided by Hermes, King Priam left the safety of his walls and entered the Greek camp alone. He found Achilles in his tent, the firelight flickering across his face. The old king knelt and kissed the hands that had slaughtered his son. "Remember your own father," he whispered, voice trembling. "Imagine his grief if you were lost." Achilles looked into the eyes of the broken man before him and saw not an enemy, but a mirror of sorrow. The fire inside him flickered, then faded. His hands trembled. He wept. And he returned Hector's body. A truce was called. Troy buried its prince in a pyre that lit the night sky. His wife mourned. His son slept in silence. His people wept for their shield, their hope, now gone. And Achilles, though feared and fabled, walked the shore, alone. For all his glory, for all his might, it was not enough to save what he loved. His armor shone, but his heart remained wounded. The war would continue. Fate still waited with its quiet dagger. But for that moment, Achilles was not a god among men. He was a man, burned by rage, broken by loss, and humbled by grief. And so The Iliad reminds us, even the mightiest fall, even heroes cry, and in the end, it is not triumph in war that defines a name, but what we choose to do with our pain. Achilles had chosen wrath, but in the end, he remembered mercy, and that is what made him eternal.